What about how you're feeling this morning? What was going
I want
on?
to hand him the microphone. Oh, yeah, when we were going out and we're leaving the house, and I was, I, I always say things feel weird, even though weird isn't the right word. I don't know quite how to describe it. And it's like, it's almost negative, but I'm like, it's not negative. I'm just like, it's hard to describe. And I feel like what it was is like, I feel like I'm kind of turning back on again. It's like things have been shut off in my energy, or like my, I don't know, the extra sensory. It just feels like maybe I was been in a survival kind of place where, traveling a lot, lots is going on around us in the province that we're in, etc. So there's a lot of paranoia, a lot of judgment, a lot of shifts and change in laws and stuff. And I'm just like, I think I shut down. And today, this morning, it felt like I think things were opening up again. And all I can say is it feels weird, but I'm recognizing that something is shifted, something is changing. And when I was trying to describe it, I recognized that, hey, I think I've been shut off for a little bit. It's like you don't notice it when you're in it. But then one day, all of a sudden, the light switch turns back on, and you're like, hey, this is more of where I want to be. And how can it open up bigger? And why was I shut off? And how can I recognize this quicker and have my energy flowing free, and always, instead of just being shut off for like weeks, and then it's like, okay, it's time to get back to business and turn the energy back on. But so it offers a lot of questions to it.
And she also brought up a dream. In the dream, there was some symbology and things. And I'm like, I think the dreams are trying to tell you that you're going to become really conscious, because she was with these people and she turned around. There was this elevator there that wasn't there before. And she had gone there with these friends before and work. And all of a sudden, an elevator. And she was seeing things different. She got on the elevator and went to a place she wasn't meant to go. So I'm like, universe is using a language in your dreams that they're opening, expanding, maybe showing you you're going to become more conscious and see things that you weren't aware of. And so this is where you go through those voids, of course, in astrology and lots of things. We all go through spiritual growth. There's invisible ladders and planes where we go in for periods of time. And on those different places, we all evolve and grow. There's always a learning, there's always something. And when you get it, that shuts off. And before you can step into this next level, there has to be a change in your energy and the way you perceive and think and that. So that sometimes it expands for quite a while. Sometimes it's just like a half an hour. Sometimes it could be weeks and months. It all depends on where you're stepping into the next level. So we go up and down in these things. And part of that evolving and growing and become conscious, because you feel more. It's like, um I don't know. It's like being in a room that's really smoky and you turn on a fan and all of a sudden all the smoke is gone and everything is clear and you can breathe, and it's just it's not as dense anymore. Whatever is there that you have evolved past now is not there. It's not holding you down. So you're lighter. You're in like a clearer room, and your sensory perceptions and your consciousness is expanded in different ways. And with Cindy, she goes through these and she's starting to understand. I've been telling her this for like 10 years, but in her reality, she's starting to really recognize it for herself. And I try to let her bring it forwards instead of me telling her all the time, because it gets really irritating when somebody is constantly, it'd be like I'm badgering her all day about all kinds of spiritual stuff and things, instead of just letting her go, oh, hey, something really cool or not so cool here. Let's sit and talk about it. So she goes in and out of these things, and we can go in really, really big discussions. And sometimes it's really neat. Sometimes it can go for days, and another time it'll go on for a few minutes and then it's shut off. And it just allow for that, because I've spent so long in my life going places and doing things. I sat with elders who taught me these things. They spent long periods of time making me conscious of all kinds of stuff. And so when I do stuff with people, I try to hold that space that they're going to recognize, they're going to open. So this morning I told her, I says, I could feel your auric field expanding. It's starting. It's like the balloon is now opening up again. She's safe. And I'm like, allow it to open and stay open, and pull it back in. Don't try to shut it down, because you're going to start feeling and knowing and seeing all kinds of stuff. And for some people, it gets paranoid. It does all kinds of things. It makes you feel all kinds of different things, because now you're picking up on everybody's stuff. And a lot of people don't like that. They're used to just being numb and shut off. So allow your energy to expand out and sit in it. And when it's uncomfortable, ask the universe to teach you how to shift so it doesn't make you feel uncomfortable. You recognize that, yes, the energy is there, but you don't have to absorb it to the point where it makes you feel negative or paranoid or scared. And so they help you to shift past it, and you get comfortable with it. So when you go around a person, you feel that, you're like, oh, I know what that is. And it's just like the filter comes up, and you don't have to sit in it and battle with them in these things.
Okay, I have to add something to that because like on Monday, we were out of Wi-Fi or cell service on Sunday night. And then on Monday morning, we drove in and we got like cell service, and my phone was just binging. I'm like, what the hell? And it was the news had just broke that they are doing the vaccine passports in the province that we're living in. And I don't know, they're sending me all these messages, and I was just like, but I didn't know what it was because everyone was so cryptic. And I was like, what's going on? And then so we're driving as our friend is telling us over the phone that what was going on, and then get off the phone, and then it's like not very long after, maybe 5 minutes later, Joe got really angry in the car, and he's just like, I am tired of this paranoid energy coming in here and filling the car. And I was just like, like I'm shook. Like, and then think about it. I'm like, yeah, shit, I did bring in that paranoid energy, because like my brain was just going and I started to spin. And he's like, I don't agree to this. And this is my space. And so he's like aware how his energy, he wants his energy to stay open. And he's aware that something's coming in and closing his energy off. And so he voices that out very clearly. Me, I'm already closed off. Like I'm already just agreeing to this is like something I want to be paranoid about. I'm like, okay, yeah, you're right. You're right, Joe. I didn't intend to bring in paranoid energy. It just happened. And I'm like, okay, and I don't want you to feel this way now. How do I shift it? So in that acknowledgement or recognition, I super wanted to be the victim. And I wanted to be like, this is serious. Things are going wrong. And I wanted to be all like angry and in this paranoia because I had already agreed to feeling this way. And then, but I was like, I don't agree to him having to feel that way. I get to choose. And so I asked out loud, okay, I recognize this happened. Teach me how to open up my energy and not get paranoid. Just see the whatever's going on for what it is without engaging in the energy of it itself. And yeah, things shifted really fast in the car, and then he was cool again.
Yeah, because when her friend was telling her all this stuff, it just kept coming, and I could feel his energy trying to get in. I was like, I want to stay. We're like in this really nice energy. We just did the hot springs. We were in there. It's just like we had a really good night. We woke up like 4 a.m. and the moon was out. It's just beautiful up on this mountain, and you're hearing the noises from nature and the water going. And it was so nice. And then this came in and it just everything. And I'm like, oh no. So right away, I just start blowing energy apart, and eventually it popped open. We're just cruising along all happy again. And I'm like, boy, that came in fast. And I was like, don't ruin our day. We just had a really, really nice experience and try to keep it wide open.
Yeah.
So that consciousness, yes. It's, when I'm around people, and lots of people, they'll tell me different kinds of things. It's like, it's in their reality. And sometimes they don't recognize it's not really a truth.
Yeah.
But it's a filter. It's something they've grew up around and they don't fully understand it. And they're constantly getting me like, trying to get me to agree. Because as soon as I agree, then I drop into that level. And then all of a sudden I'm matching their energy. And the more they make me agree, the more it pulls and gets me stuck in there. All of a sudden it's like I'm in this mud and tar and I'm trying to swim out. And I'm like trying to give them answers. I'm like, no, and I try to shift it in different ways until somewhere they recognize, and then they let that go. It's the same within the clearings and energy work I do. People always somewhere want to pull me into what their filters and their perception is. And I'm like, yes, that's where you're at. But if you can understand it's a filter or something and you get a clear, something clears, all of a sudden you see beyond it and you free yourself. So
Yes.
that fear and that paranoia that's holding you there, and it might be a belief that's 10 generations long, or it might be part of, say you grew up as a Muslim, or say you grew up in another ethnic kind of belief, Tibetan or something, and you only see through these filters and there's certain kinds of belief systems. And I'm like, yes, it's all there. But when you get this expanded knowledge, you start seeing beyond that. And all of a sudden you're like, whoa. And you don't have those fears and paranoias. Then you get that curiosity. It's like, okay, I'm curious. There's something new came in, made me feel really good. Like, I want to know more about that. It's like astrology, anything else. It's like, whoa, this is so big and beautiful. So you try to step into that. I always tell people, look for the good. We're programmed right from when we're children to look for the negative. As soon as we look for the negative, we attract, and all these energies bring us down. But if we're like, no, 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 I'm going to find the positive, I'm going to find something because it's going to help me change that. And if you start doing that with your mind and your belief and holding your energies open and all of this, you receive lots, like you just move things like a shooting star. It's like amazing how fast you can go through things, have downloads, changes, even sitting with people, it literally shifts and heals and changes people. Some people will freak out, never ever come around you again. They'll think you're evil or something. But it's really interesting because they prayed for an experience. They prayed to come in contact with somebody who has knowledge, who has compassion, love, who really wants to see them in a really, really nice space. So all of a sudden they come to you and you do something like this and they're smiling and grinning. And for about 2 weeks, they're just feeling so amazing. And then all of a sudden they're like, what the hell? You know, it's natives are really bad for this. It's like they get really happy. And then all of a sudden they'll turn on you and they'll say, oh, you did this to me. You did. I'm like, you were happy. Your life was really good. All these good things were coming to you. And it's because they're so used to being in that negativity. They're so used to being shut off.
Mm.
That when all of a sudden they're really happy and all these good things are coming, it's somebody did something wrong to them because everybody accepts holding that negativity. And that's over 100 years is sitting on this reserve. Everybody saying, yes, we agree, we have to be this way. So one person all of a sudden is actually open, having manifestations, good things are going on. Well, you don't fit into that anymore. So it's very scary. So somebody did something wrong to you. And you'll find this sometimes when a person comes to you for healing or knowledge or something, somehow it changes them, and then they don't ever want to talk to you or even be around you.